Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Um, I'm Laurie. I'll be leading the meeting for the most part today. Just first off, I'm sure you will have seen a message when you joined saying that the meeting is going to be recorded today. So just to say, please keep yourselves on mute throughout, otherwise all of your background noise will be on that recording. And also, if you don't want your face to be part of the recording, that's absolutely fine. Just turn your cameras off. There's no problem there. So yeah. First and foremost, there's a few of us in the room from LCF and from 100% Digital Leeds, so we'll just do a quick whip round of introductions. So, as I said, I'm Laurie Cummins. I'm a Programmes Officer at Leeds Community Foundation, and I'm the Programme Lead on the Digital Inclusion Fund, which is why I'm here today. So I will just pass on to my colleagues. So Jess.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Yes, I'm Jess Johnson and I'm Communications Officer at Leeds Community Foundation.
Fantastic. And Caitlin.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin, Grants Administrator working at Leeds Community Foundation.
Great. And then we also have a couple of people from 100% Digital Leeds. So Amy.
Afternoon, everyone. My name's Amy Hearn and I'm Digital Inclusion Manager on the 100% Digital Leeds programme, part of Leeds City Council.
And Jason.
Hi everyone, I'm Jason, Head of 100% Digital Leeds. I work with Amy. I'm going to be off camera for most of the meeting, so I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. Any questions and comments that I can answer in the chat while the webinar is happening, I'll be doing that.
Grand. So that's kind of everyone official on the call today. So what's going to happen is we're just going to take you through a presentation with some information about the fund. I'll chat a little bit about the Leeds Community Foundation side of things, then I'll pass over to Amy to chat a little bit about the 100% digital side of things. If you do have any questions as we go, pop them in the chat. We'll either answer them as we can or we'll come back to them at the end. And there will be space for a Q&A at the end as well. So yeah, let's kick it off from here. Just a little bit about Leeds Community Foundation. I recognise lots of names here today. I know lots of you know who we are very well. But just for those of you who don't, I will not be reading this whole slide out. The information's there if you want it. Basically, Leeds Community Foundation is a very localised place-based charity. We kind of bring in money from all over the city wherever possible, and we distribute that through grant making. We run several different funds a year. Lots of them have different criteria, different funders, different themes, including the Digital Inclusion Fund, which we'll be talking about today. So just to say, if you're interested in this fund, you might be interested in some of our other funds. Do have a look at our website and sign up to our grant alerts. You'll be told how to do that in the email following this meeting as well. So that's us. Onto the topic of the day, the Leeds Digital Inclusion Fund. I'll talk a little bit about the themes that we're looking to fund, but this is the headline information. So grant size is up to £10,000. Just to say, that really does mean up to. If you are applying for the fund, please don't feel like you have to meet that £10,000 to look proper or official or anything like that. We're looking for activity that suits your organisation. So if that's something smaller that costs less than that, that's absolutely fine. The location of activity should be within the City of Leeds, which is the official name for the Leeds City Council jurisdiction, basically. If your organisation is based outside of Leeds, that's absolutely fine, but you should be able to demonstrate a really clear and existing connection to the communities that you're proposing to work with. In terms of timeline, the fund actually opened this morning, so hot off the press, open now. You have until the 11th of September at 12 noon to submit your applications online. And the activity that you're applying for, similar to the grant size, that can be up to 1 year, but please don't feel like you have to fill a year with whatever it is you're looking to do. So I won't speak too much on the themes of the fund because Amy's going to talk you through some really in-depth stuff about digital inclusion and what that might look like later on in the meeting. But the headline information, the development and delivery of sustainable digital inclusion interventions. Essentially what we mean by that is something that really works with your organisation. The point is to fund really effective digital inclusion work that integrates into the day-to-day of what you do as an organisation. And we are looking to fund, I guess, a mixture of smaller and a test and learn activity, and much bigger development activity for people who've already started on their digital inclusion journey. And that's kind of it. I will actually leave the rest to Amy because she's got a lot more in-depth things to say. And on that topic, this is a collaborative fund. We run it in collaboration with 100% Digital Leeds and also the Leeds Digital Ball. The Leeds Digital Ball raised the money for us, and they've already raised £75,000 this year, which is really exciting. In terms of delivery, it's between Leeds Community Foundation and 100% Digital Leeds. So just to make it clear who's doing what and who you should contact with what kind of question, if you are applying. As Leeds Community Foundation, we administrate the fund. So we are running the application programme. We are overseeing the decision-making process. We'll be the ones communicating with you about your application and the outcome of the application. But there is advice available from 100% Digital Leeds that we really strongly recommend you take up. More on that later. But these guys can help you out with the development of your application and help you out with what might be the most appropriate way to approach it for your organisation. So it's kind of us for the administration and 100% Digital Leeds for the digital inclusion advice itself. In terms of the administration, the application process is quite simple. It is an application form online. Just a particular point this year, for those of you who've applied for our funds before, we are changing systems, and I won't go into the details because it's very, very dull, but for this fund particularly, the application form will look different. The way that you reach the application form is exactly the same. It is online, but it will look different to previous years, and it is just for this one fund. If you do have any problems with it or you think there might be an issue there, please get in touch with LCF and we will help you out with it and we'll address any issues. Otherwise, though, it's the same kind of questions. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What do you think the impact will be? And it is all through an online form that can be reached via our website. I'm sure you'll get the link in a very useful email sent by Jess after this meeting. But yeah, once you submitted your application form, what happens is a professional grant assessor will have a look at your application, look into all of the supporting documents that you have to send with it, and please do email those instead of attaching them to the form in this case, but all the information will be there for you. And then we recruit an independent panel, like it says there. So that's a group of different people with expertise in relevant subject areas, including lived experience, and as a group, they make a decision. So there's no one person making a decision on your application. As it says there, outcomes will go out in November this year, and you'll get that via email. You'll always find out if you were successful or unsuccessful, and we do our best to provide feedback with every outcome. So yeah, that's it from me. I think I'm handing over to Amy now to talk about the much more interesting element.
Thanks, Laurie. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what a good application to this fund would look like, or the kinds of things that the panel might deem to be a good application, and what the role of 100% Digital Leeds is in being able to support your development of those applications. So at 100% Digital Leeds, we think it's really important to position digital inclusion and supporting people's digital skills, confidence, connectivity, etc., as an enabler to the kinds of things that they would like to be able to do digitally. So we see digital inclusion as social inclusion. So it's not about digital for its own sake and people sort of being able to, in an abstract way, do things online. There are many people that lack the confidence to be able to engage with digital, that don't understand or appreciate necessarily the sort of personal relevance of what using digital might mean for them and the kinds of things that it might help them be able to do that are important to them. And those people don't tend to engage with digital inclusion interventions that are positioned as digital because they don't see themselves as digital. So strong applications will be positioned as digital as a means to an end, with that end being specified. So linked to, improved employability or health outcomes or financial resilience or something like that, rather than digital as an end in itself. So we would like everybody to be able to make an informed choice about whether they engage with digital tools and services or not. So we don't at 100% Digital Leeds think that digital is best necessarily. we'd just like everybody to be able to have the same freedom of choice as I have and people on this call have when it comes to engaging with digital tools and services or not. Some of the digital tools and services that we engage with that make our lives easier might be really, really simple things. It might be things like using Google Maps. It might be using Spotify to stream music. It might be about using the NHS app to be able to book health appointments. All of those things mean something to people. So those are the kinds of things that we would like to see. So in considering the application as well, to be able to make an informed choice, people need to have barriers removed. So when they're asked if they want to do something digitally, they're not answering that question based on a barrier, such as them not having access to the equipment that they would need or the connectivity that they would need to be able to get online, or them not saying no because they worry about being scammed or lack their confidence in themselves and their own ability to be able to engage with digital. They're not saying no because they don't have the skills to be able to do it, or so they're just, like, as I mentioned at the beginning, they don't understand the personal relevance to themselves. So applications should consider all of those barriers. Applications should be tailored to meet the needs of your particular service users, thinking about those barriers and the wider barriers that people may face as well. Next slide, please. Thanks. So as well as being tailored to meet the needs of your particular community that you support, as Laurie mentioned, we're looking to for applications to be sustainable interventions. So in order to be sustainable, we would like to see digital inclusion interventions that are embedded within your organisation's existing services. By embedding them within your organisation's existing services, you're also going to make them more relevant to the people that are accessing your services, because they're a means to an end rather than an end in itself. And also they're embedded within your services in a way that means that then it's they're enabling your services aims and objectives as well. So good digital inclusion should be tailored to meet the needs of the people you're supporting, also to fit within your organisation sort of strategy and help you realise your own objectives, so that it's not extra work. It's part of, it's integral to the work that you're doing. We're also really looking for applications from organisations that are well positioned to meet the needs of people that are more likely to be digitally excluded in Leeds. So it's very rare that we get applications from organisations that their entire focus is on digital inclusion. It's much more common to receive applications, and what we would like to see, from organisations that offer wider services, but they know that they support people in communities that are more likely to be digitally excluded. They see a higher prevalence of those things within their service users. Those organisations are well placed to be able to meet the needs of digitally excluded people that they already work with. And by embedding digital inclusion within those organisation services, we're starting with organisations that are already engaging with people that are digitally excluded. So people are already feel comfortable with the organisation, they feel safe accessing the support of the organisation, and they're not looking to come to you for digital inclusion support. They're looking to come for support for something that means something to them, and then you're going to embed the digital inclusion through that, so that that's an enabler to the things that they want to see. So when we work in that way, the support is available at places where people feel safe. It's available from people that individuals know and trust, from people that have a wider understanding of the sort of holistic needs of that person, that they're able to take a person-centred approach to offering that person support, with digital inclusion being an element of that wider support that you might already offer. Again, people are supported to do the things that are important to them. So we're not interested in seeing abstract concepts like we're going to get every service user to be able to meet these particular targets in terms of skills and connectivity and things. They're interested in people being supported with what they need to do, what's relevant for them on an individualised basis. That people are also supported to learn at the pace that's right for them. So this is really important. You will know your service users. You know how they like to be supported and what their needs are. Each of the applications that we receive will be different. They should be written by somebody that understands the needs of those service users. And if you do, you can easily position what that need is, what difference that intervention would make, and what that intervention would look like. And finally, that people are supported to access the equipment and connectivity they need. So if your application is around providing people access to equipment and connectivity, please also think about the wraparound support that people may need to be able to use that equipment. For many people, if they don't have access to that equipment, that means they're not experienced in using that equipment, or they've managed to find workarounds that mean that they don't see the impact of not having access to that equipment, if that makes sense. So if you just give that person some equipment or loan them some equipment, you're often not going to see the outcomes that you want to see without also addressing skills, confidence and motivation. And that motivation comes from talking to people outside of a digital context about what difference they would like to see in their lives, and then introducing digital into the conversation in a way that's relevant and meaningful and will help them to be able to realise that difference that they would like to see. Next slide, please. Next slide. That's it? Oh, sorry, it didn't change for me and now it's just changed. Okay. So now my lights have gone out. The initiatives that we would like to fund. Thank you. As it says, are sustainable, embedded across existing services and focused on outcomes. And those outcomes are not digital outcomes. They're the kinds of things that digital will enable. So again, embedded within the service in a way that makes sense, that's realising the outcomes the service wants to see: employability, financial resilience, social inclusion, health participation, those kinds of things. And it's embedded in a way that is meeting and it is helping the organisation support the service users, but also making your lives easier for your staff and volunteers. That it's bespoke, co-produced in response to need. So again, seeing that you understand what that need is and have tailored the approach to meet that particular need. The best way that you can do that, in my opinion, is to ask for our support, because that's what we do all of the time with organisations. Many of the people that I can see that are on the call are from organisations that we know and love, so that's brilliant. Some aren't. So to have, the best opportunity, it really is worth speaking to us. So initiatives also that where everyone has a role to play in removing barriers. So by that, what we mean is that we're not looking for applications where digital inclusion is tacked on to an existing service. So for example, an application that was for funding to employ an external tutor to come and deliver some digital skills service, some digital skills sessions outside of any wider context would be unlikely to be funded unless you can really demonstrate why that is the best intervention for you, because that is not building the capacity of your organisation by bringing sort of parachuting somebody else in, and it's also not looking to be sustainable, because once the funding is finished, that external person will just sort of disengage with your service potentially. If it was that you were bringing an external person to work alongside your staff and volunteers to upskill them with a view to delivery after that person has gone, then that would be much stronger. It also means that we don't expect organisations to have to do everything in removing barriers to digital inclusion. It could be that you're working in partnership with another organisation that is able to offer some of the intervention. Those partnerships are something that 100% Digital Leeds can potentially help facilitate, as well as we're aware of other organisations that may only be able to do part of the work. Initiatives that build upon existing strengths and assets. So again, if you have done some work with us in the past or done some digital inclusion stuff in the past, then a small project with a sort of evidence of impact that you're looking to build and scale is a really good way to go. Working in partnership to shared priorities. So again, working with other organisations is good and fine. Utilising trusted relationships, that really comes from that person-centred approach. So for a lot of individuals, especially those with higher needs and living in more sort of complex challenges, that person-centred approach, really understanding that person's need and what will motivate them, comes from having a conversation with somebody that they know and trust, that they can really get into conversations that can be sort of stressful and emotive. So if those utilising trusted relationships is really important. Again, using the person-centred holistic approach. So again, really focused on the needs of that individual and being able to tailor to those needs. And then finally working towards sustainable long-term solutions. So we're really not looking to fund applications that are time limited, reliant completely on this fund to be able to continue, where once the money is run out, there'll be no difference in your organisation's capacity to support digital inclusion going forward. We understand that interventions do need funding and organisations do need funding and capacity. So it's not that there'd be a problem if it's that some of the elements would not continue without the funding, but we are looking for sort of future proofing to at least a certain extent. Next slide, please. Thank you. So how 100% Digital Leeds can help. So as we have in previous years, we're offering the opportunity to have a conversation or multiple conversations with members of our team that can help you work out what that intervention might look like. We've got plenty of time while the application window is open as well. So if you don't know us as an organisation, we can help you find out what those needs are of your service users, so that you're in a really good place to be able to demonstrate that particular need. You've got time to be able to have those conversations with staff and volunteers and service users, etc. So we can help to develop your idea. So we've worked with hundreds of organisations over the last 8 years to design, develop and deliver digital inclusion interventions. So we're really, really experienced with that. We've seen lots of different things that work and don't work. So even if you've got a really firm idea, if you want to reach out to us and just say, what do you think? Has anyone tried this? Has it worked? It's worth doing that. If you're starting from scratch, contact us straight away and we can work with you over the next couple of months to be in a really strong position to apply. And yeah, we can share best practice and things that have worked for other organisations, or even link you with other organisations to speak with them directly if we think that you can learn from them. We've also got networks as well of organisations that will be working in the same space or to the same outcomes or with the same community of interest. So lots of learning to share. Help to link with partners. As I already mentioned, we're aware of lots of different work that's going on across the city. Lots of organisations that are only part of the jigsaw puzzle is what they're able to play, that are looking to partner with other organisations that have got different strengths or assets. We'd be very pleased to help you make those connections if you're thinking your organisation can't do everything that's been discussed and you'd like to work in partnership. Through our existing networks, we can also link you with the other work that's happening across the city to make sure that you're not duplicating or focusing on an area where there's already a lot of support in place. We do recognise that we want to see a lot of support, and we see a lot of overlapping interventions because each of these interventions is tailored to meet the needs of your service users. So it's not about sort of filling gaps on a map, so to speak, but it's worth checking in on us to see what's already happening and whether that intervention is going to add value to the work that's already happening. and also linking in with local and national initiatives. So this one is a really important one because there's all, if you haven't worked with us before, there are all sorts of partnerships that we already have that might provide things free of charge that you might look to cost into your funding bid. So if you speak to us beforehand, we might be able to say, for example, you don't need to buy a load of data sims because there are these various organisations that will provide that free of charge for you. So that will help strengthen your bid and make sure that you're using the funding that you're provided to its best effect. And help you to embed across your service. So we can, again, joining a digital inclusion network. So there's local networks and national networks. So you can see what's already worked. You can see what other things you can access, and you can learn from the best practice of others. Looking across your whole organisation. So whilst it may be that some organisations, you may think, well, you know, the actual digital skills support needs to be provided by a person or somebody that's, you know, dedicated in that resource. There are lots of other roles for people within your organisation. So can the individuals that are having those conversations, one-to-one conversations, the trusted staff within your organisation, are they able to identify digitally excluded people and have those motivational conversations of how they might benefit from support and direct into that digital skills provision that you're looking to the funding to be able to bring your capacity to? If not, then you may find that just because the need is out there doesn't mean the appetite is out there. So we can help you make sure that your intervention has been as well thought through as possible and has got as much chance of success as possible. And part of that, our offer for that is it's digital inclusion awareness training. So we can offer training, a workshop rather, with your staff teams, volunteers, whoever it might be. That's a really, really good way of being able to identify the needs of your service users. If you're looking to apply to this fund, it's probably because you already see some of that need. So those workshops, free of charge, are how we usually start our conversations with organisations to really look at what everybody feeding in, you know, staff and volunteers co-producing the intervention as well as feeding into the understanding of need, because it does tend to be those frontline people that are already seeing that need. Next slide, please. And that's it. So if you would like our support at any level, a conversation, multiple conversations, please contact us by visiting our website, digitalinclusionleeds.com/contact, and there is a contact form. Your email will be picked up. After a few days, a member of staff that we think is best placed will be in touch with you to have that conversation. Please contact us sooner rather than later if you possibly can, because you may find that conversation is a conversation rather than one chat. That will put you in the best position possible to be able to build on, think about, consider any feedback that we may have. And it also means that we've got time to work with you to sort of, you know, help inform or design the bid and make it as strong as possible. We will be supporting lots of organisations in this way, and our team is very small and our capacity is limited. So the sooner that you get in touch with us, the more likely it is that you'll be able to get more support. That's it from me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Amy. So I believe the next slide is just any questions. I can see a question in the chat already from Anne at Slate. Well, Amy, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Hi, Anne. Good to see you here. I'm glad that you're looking to apply for this fund. I think it'd be a really good fit.
I promised to do the evaluations properly. We had a little bit of a hop, skip and a jump about me thinking that people who weren't learning disabled, because that's my whole job, would do their own evaluations, which was fun and games.
We got there in the end. We got there in the end. It's all good. Thanks. It's all good. Yeah, please speak to us. I know that we know you well and we've spoken lots, but this conversation would be about the this specific bid. And before you do a load of writing on it, I think just have a chat with us and make sure that the outline that you've got is on the right lines to make it as fundable as possible.
Cool.
No
Sign
point
me
in
up
you doing a
then.
load of writing for us to
Yeah.
have to do it later. So yeah, get in touch. We'll be happy to help.
Okay. I'll send you an email. Is that okay? Is that how I should do it?
You should really do it by the contact form, but you've already got my contact, haven't you? So we'll let you off on that
No,
one.
I can do it by the contact form. No, I get it totally. Don't worry.
Thank you. It's
I'll
just
do it
to
by the
avoid
contact
anything
form.
getting lost. That's it. There'll be a lot of emails flying around. So if they're
Yes.
all coming into one place, then nobody's going to get missed off. But you contact me however you would like.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. It's exciting.
Very much so, yes.
And it is exciting. Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask now?
Yes, I do.
Hi. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. It's Melodia for Romania, but same time for Roma community. Does anybody see me?
Yeah.
Yep. We can see you.
Yeah. Is everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know this technology. Yeah. It's an organization that's called AME for Roma Leeds, and we get in touch with the people we support people for Roma community in Leeds that it's not just us waiting. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me. And I see some more faces. Yeah. My question is to you, Ami, who can apply for 100% digital? Is that all right? If you can answer me, who can apply?
Who can apply for this fund? Do you mean what organisational?
Yes, what organization?
So that's a question for Leeds Community Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one for me. I won't reel off the whole list to you, but basically any organisation that's not for profit. If you are not a registered charity and not an incorporated organisation, but you do have a constitution, you're welcome to apply, but there are some restrictions on how much income you can have because of Charity Commission guidance. So please check that on the criteria. But if you are struggling with it, please get in touch with us and we can talk you through it individually as well.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity, because we as a Roma community, we are so left behind, and also we've been so isolated. And I think this is a good opportunity for us that we can benefit and be so able to support the community that they needed to get out from isolation, get in touch, and develop more skills and getting more jobs and maybe get more educated. And thank you so much for your answer. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Sounds like it might be a good fit. There's a couple of questions in the chat. There is no blanket maximum income level, but the question below from Alan, yes. So the usual requirement about small unincorporated organisations, that does apply because it's based on Charity Commission legal guidance. So that is a blanket criteria across all of our funding. If you do have any follow-up questions about that, please get in touch. That's absolutely fine. The slides, as Jess has said, will all be sent through after the meeting. We had a question from Mike Stevenson in the chat. Can the fund support both equipment purchase and costs to deliver the session? Yes, it absolutely can. Again, as with everything, we really recommend you talk to 100% Digital Leeds about what you're doing, just to make sure that you are, like Amy said, aware of anything that can get you free equipment, or just making sure that you're aware of the most appropriate equipment for what you're trying to deliver as well. So Sam says, we are a brand new community centre not open yet. Would we be excluded? That would really depend on your situation, Sam. So it depends on what kind of organisation you are and how set up you are, rather than whether you're open or not. We're absolutely looking to support test and learn activities. So if that's something you're looking to do, that might be a great fit. If you're not sure about your eligibility, get in touch with us. But if you want to know more about the actual development of the activity, get in touch with 100% Digital. Is that okay? Great. Okay, any more questions while we're still on the call? So I think there's one for Amy in the chat. I don't know if you can see that. If offering consulting through raising awareness for others, so that they will then have long-term impact in their business, is that seen as sustainable or not?
I'm not sure. Chris, are you able to unmute and explain a little more? Sorry.
Yeah, I think I know lots of faces here, and so it's not for me, which is lovely. Yeah, so basically, if you've acknowledge that there's a lack of understanding on things like what we provide, which is digital inclusivity, and what companies can do, how they can be more digital when they're doing their own socials or their own sort of digital assets. If you can go into businesses and go, here's the information that then you can take forwards in your company, because they may have an appointed place as a head of inclusion, or they may, as a business, say, we're great at doing what we do, but actually, yeah, we're not having inclusive assets. From what you were talking originally, is that seen as not sustainable because it's a person coming in and giving a thing, or it is sustainable because that business will then go on to know
So
that and to be able to deliver?
this fund is to build the community capacity to support individuals with their own digital inclusion. It's not a fund that's suitable for inclusive digital service development or
Okay, great.
inclusive. So,
Yeah.
so if your role is advising businesses on how to make their digital offer more inclusive and accessible, that's
Yeah.
not a good fit for this fund.
That's not within this one. That's
No.
fine. I just wanted to know whether to include that or not as part of. So that's great. Yeah,
If it was a bid that was focused on building community capacity to support the digital inclusion of individuals, members of the community, and
Yeah.
that digitally inclusive services was an element of that bid that was not costed in and was adding value, then please include it. But the money is to support community organisations to have a digital inclusion intervention that's going to mean that the people they support are more able to use any digital, have improved digital skills, connectivity, etc. Not that those services are more inclusive or accessible, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, yes. Can I caveat on it? I don't want to take up too much time, but in that sort of scenario, so for example, I'm Huddersfield based, there are companies that offer sort of like getting young people with SEND into employment and things like that. They are charities and organisations, but they are lacking the awareness to do that. So again, it's not themselves and their own business, but they are, say, a charity organisation that is trying to support a community in things that struggle with, like you say, elderly or older people that, for example, are neurodivergent but don't know that they're neurodivergent. Again, is that a no for this, or would that sort of tick into the, well, actually, yes, because they're trying to provide a service to the individuals?
I think it would be probably useful to have a more in-depth conversation with one of the members of the team outside of this call, because I think I'd just need a little bit more information about what you were looking to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Just a quick one, Mike Stevenson. If an organisation has received funding previously from 100% digital, can they apply again here? I'd imagine the answer is yes, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike, I can't see if Mike's on the call, but I don't recognise your name. Are you asking on behalf of a particular organisation?
Hi, Amy. Yeah, I work at the communities team at Leeds City Council, so we do partnership work with lots of organisations across the city. So I've kind of got my hat on of how I could support other organisations that we work with. So just I'm aware of some that have been supported recently by 100% digital, which has been fantastic. Just wanted to double check before kind of striking up a conversation with them.
Yes, so absolutely. So we're involved in lots of different funding opportunities. So it could be that if they've had funding or been supported with funding by 100% Digital Leeds, then yeah, that's not going to make any difference. If this is about building on or starting digital inclusion interventions, so if it is an organisation that has got an established offer that is well used, and they're looking for essentially sustainability funding, please still talk to us. This is not the right fund for that, but we have got people on the team that are would be pleased to speak to organisations about different funds. So whatever it is, if it's an organisation that needs funding for digital inclusion, speak to us. It might be this fund, it might be a different fund, it might be a longer conversation. Direct them our way or meet with us.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
And just to add to that, if anyone was wondering who has received this fund before and wants to know if they can reapply, you absolutely can, but the same thing applies as long as it's a building on existing work. After a certain point, this wouldn't be the right fund for you, but please do still speak to 100% digital. Okay, I think that's it, unless anyone has some desperate questions they want to get in. Grand. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. If you do have follow-up questions that occur to you as you're writing it, as you're thinking about these things, please get in touch with whoever you think is the most relevant. If you've not got the right person, we'll redirect you, and you'll be sent all of the slides and the recording following this meeting. So yeah, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to seeing your bids.